Welcome to the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
My name is Moshe Kasher. That's my wife, Natasha Leggero.
Moshe's leaving this week for Sad Burning Man.
Well, I've been getting a lot of shit at the home front about the fact that I am, despite the fact
That there's a pandemic, despite the fact that there is orange to red air quality, despite the fact I am a father of a toddler. I just have some
you missed the
serious
biggest
FOMO.
You missed the biggest despite the fact.
There's no Burning Man.
They've canceled the event. It isn't happening.
So who's going to be there?
Well, that is the great question. Is it not, Natasha? Who is going to be there and what will I encounter? It's possible that I'm going to drive all the way out there and it's going to be a fucking just wreck of a shit show. Nothing cool to see. Just
And how are you going to know where to park your thing?
What do you mean?
Well, like at Burning Man, there is some organization to
Right.
it,
They did
you
take
know?
that away.
Yeah.
So it's a wide open space now and it's just like
Oh
kind
my
of
God.
DIY. No, it's called PIY.
What?
Park it yourself.
That is like so my idea of hell.
Well,
It's so funny to me that I mean, I'm happy that you are excited by something like that.
maybe this will make it a little bit sweeter of a deal.
Yeah.
Uh,
It just sounds like a potential chaos.
I was going to say it's potentially dangerous.
Like everything about it in the current
there's
climate.
no one in control. There's no one organizing it. It's a really.
There's a variant. We're going to
I'm
get
not
the
worried
Burning
about
Man
I'm
variant.
not worried about the Delta variant because I'm not going to be inside. I'm going to be outside the whole time. I mean, how would I get the Delta variant? By making out with the hula hooper? I'm not.
Well, yeah, I guess if something's a sex festival, a variant
It's not
would
a sex
spread, right?
festival. You've
Well,
been
not for you.
You've been to Burning Man twice, and you know it's not a sex festival.
Well, it is a place where, like, if you're single, answer this. If you're single,
Okay,
going to Burning Man, what are the chances you're hoping you're going to get laid?
I guess
99?
I guess it depends. What do you mean? If you're single going to Starbucks, what are the chances you're hoping you're going to get laid? 99?
Burning Man's different.
It's not a sex festival. It's a festival where people have sex just like every festival.
Okay.
You don't think people fucked at Woodstock?
Oh, yeah. But I mean, like, part of it is just kind of like being naked. Like, we went at the Dr. Bronner's, like,
Interesting.
hundreds of people are just being pushed together naked.
And you thought that was sexual. That felt sexual to you?
I'm not saying it felt sexual. It felt potentially sexual.
I think it's interesting that you're such a prude. You equate nudity with sexuality. To
I
me,
don't.
I'm much more of like a nudity is the state that we're born in. God created us this way. There's nothing inherently sexual about the human body. But I guess if you find the need to sexualize everyone that takes even one article of clothing off, then that's your decision.
Okay, listen. Talk to me in a week when you come back. All right, you know what? Tonight's a Where Are They Now?
Hold on, I'm going to talk to you about it now. I'm not done with my thoughts.
Okay, but I just want to say, just flash forward. Flash forward. Where Are They Now? I'm really curious if you had a fun
Oh, you
time.
mean because we're doing a Where Are They Now episode?
Yeah.
You can't wait for me to get home so we can do a Where Am I Now
about Burning
about
Man.
Sad Burning Man.
But yes, go ahead. What's your take on it, Moshe?
So, okay, it's a coin flip, right? That it might be. Okay, I've been going to Burning Man now.
No, it's obviously going to be terrible.
I've been going to Burning Man now since 1996. Okay.
Okay.
And I've gone every year since 2001. So I went in 96. I didn't go back to 2001. I went every year since 2001. Last year was my first year off because they canceled it because of the pandemic. And this year they canceled it again. But a lot of people, but they did say, like, you know, it's BLM land. You're welcome to go. And a lot of people have decided to go. Right. So over the 20 years that I've been going, Burning Man, which I would say is in terms of curated human experiences on this planet, it is among the most unique, over-the-top, spectacular things a human being can see and witness. It doesn't mean you'll like it. If you went, oh my viewer, you might hate it. You might think it's for losers, but you would definitely be like, that was something to behold, right? It's big, it's spectacular. despite the fact that it's big and spectacular, I've been going for so long that I was starting to get bored. It was starting to feel extremely repetitious. I felt like I'd seen it all. You never want to be in a position where there's like a woman being hung from flesh hooks, setting her pubic hair on fire, while like a robotic rhinoceros like fucks her with a dildo and go, ugh, seen it, right? A little area for laughter there for you. And that's what was happening to me. So now that it's been canceled twice and people are going, I'm like, there's a potential possibility. The odds of whackness and chaos are high. But the odds of me going and it being like something unique for the first time in 20 years, something I haven't seen in a long time, more akin to the Burning Man that I went to in 1996, where it was very lo-fi and very much more DIY and much less rule-oriented and much more just kind of punk rock in a weird way. There's a possibility that that's what's going to happen. And I'm curious enough, and it's been a big enough part of my life that I'm getting in the RV, I'm packing a male friend in the passenger seat, and we're going to jerk each other off all the way up to Gerlach, Nevada.
Okay, you're actually a great person for my question. You've been to 20 Burning Mans.
Yeah.
Now,
Why?
when you didn't have a girlfriend, what percent, how many times did you have sex at a Burning Man?
You know, that's
Would you say everyone?
I thought you were asking me how many times have I... What's the time? What
you're
was
trying to say it's not a sex festival.
What was the Burning Man that I had the most times of sex at?
No, I'm saying...
Because I could answer that too.
Did you ever have no sex?
Yes.
Okay.
1 year.
Out of 20?
Well, no. Actually, 3 years. No, wait. Yeah, no, 2 years. 1, I had some kind of weird dry spell, and I kind of had a good time anyway. And 2, it was the first year that I went to Burning Man when we were together. And guess what, Tosh? I never told you this. I didn't cheat on you. Isn't that cool?
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Really cool. So basically every one of them you've had sex at. And
Yeah.
Because it's a sex festival.
It's not a sex festival. It's a festival where people have sex, much like all festivals. Do you think people ever got laid at the Monterey Pop Festival?
They're not living there for 2 weeks.
Do you think anybody ever got laid
trying
at
to reframe their lives.
ye old Coachella? But no, I mean,
hey,
listen,
I gave it 3 tries.
It's a sexual festival. You went.
I
know
went
what?
3
To your
times.
credit,
That's a good amount, and
yes.
it still never really affected me
To
that
your credit,
profoundly.
you went with a closed mind, and you
and a 8-month full pregnant belly.
8-month
too.
full.
I was like an advanced pregnancy.
That was a huge mistake.
And I did have an open mind.
That was a mistake of mine, inviting you while you were pregnant. Big mistake.
That was probably the worst one.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, it's not for everybody. It wasn't for Natasha, the most predictable plot twist of all time. But you were impressed by it, were you not? Like it was a spectacle to behold. It was
the spectacle thing. I don't really understand what you're saying, what you're talking about.
Like the gigantic,
the Burning Man. Oh yeah. No, that was cool.
large
I guess.
scale art, huge things on fire, buildings burning down, like crazy fireworks and explode. None of that. You were like, wow, cool. You didn't even have that thought once. Whoa, cool.
I don't know. I just would rather like walk around New York, I think.
That's just such a funny reaction to Burning Man. Yeah, this is okay, I guess. I'd rather walk around New York.
Or maybe like Paris on Bastille Day or something.
My thing has always been with Burning Man and everything else. People go, I'd rather walk around in New York or whatever. I go, yeah, you can do that too. That's what's cool about life. You get to do everything.
Right, but the fact that you have to go to Burning Man, you also could be subject to like extreme heat, extreme cold, the dust storms, being super uncomfortable all the time. Sometimes it was so hot you couldn't even leave the room or you couldn't even walk outside until like 7 p.m. And then sometimes it was so cold your like feet were numb, you know?
You sound like you had fun. Listen, you know what? It's possible the reason you didn't have a good time was that you weren't getting laid.
I was every time I went.
Right. I guess I was there providing you that service.
Well, listen, I would like to talk to you in a week. Where are they now? I'm very curious if you're going to still be thinking that you're glad you went.
I admit that this might be a foolish idea, but I got it all set up. I'm going to go in my truck. I'm going to stop at a hot spring place on the way there. Me and my friend Andy are going to scrub each other's backs. Then we're going to drive a little further. We're going to jump in a river. Then we're going to go to Gerlach. And then we're going to go to the Black Rock Desert. We're going to stay only a few days. And if it's awful, I'm going to start my fucking truck and bail. I don't feel like I have to stay.
One thing you skipped you skipped something that I think is a really important step.
Oh, tell me.
Okay. When you get to Gerlach,
Yeah.
pause,
Yeah.
take a deep breath,
Yeah.
and be like, what's the vibe?
What do you mean you mean when I first get there?
Yeah, like just like suss out what's happening.
What do you mean? I didn't skip that step. I said if it sucks, I leave.
Oh, okay.
What do you think? I'm gonna not observe that it sucks and
I don't know. It just seems like you could like get into a traffic jam or something.
what?
I don't know.
A traffic
I just
jam?
think
That's your
something-
worst case scenario?
No, just like like a Burning Man traffic jam, like
Oh, to
20
get out.
hours or something.
No, because
or-
there's nobody manning anything. No one's manning
that
it.
just sounds like such potential chaos, Moshe.
It is.
Why do you want to drive into a city of chaos?
Because I don't
you don't want to be afraid.
I just, it's not that I don't want to be afraid. It's that I don't use fear as my primary propulsion method through the world.
Even during a pandemic?
What does the pandemic have to do
I don't know.
with
Everything's
anything?
more vulnerable.
The pandemic is
You
not.
could get, everything seems like a big decision. Just if I go get my bangs cut, I could maybe kill my child.
Oh, you mean by giving her COVID?
I guess. I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's like the tone right now. Like,
Look,
every single decision you make could be this thing that potentially, like,
COVID doesn't worry me at all. Apropos of Burning
and then
Man.
the fallout of COVID, people getting mad about, there's just going to be a lot of fallout. There's going to be a lot of like
what?
economic disparity. I'm just saying.
Economic disparity? How do we go from traffic jam to economic disparity and our child is dead? I don't understand. My point is, I'm not worried about COVID in the desert. I'm not going to be indoors. I'm going to be basically camping outside. I'm going to test, by the way, on my way up and before I come back and share my bed with you. And the thing I'm more worried about is like getting run over by a dune buggy.
Exactly.
Right, but I'm not going to let fear run my life.
Okay.
I'm going to just go have a good time. Here's take solace in this. I have a gigantic faith in my ability to take care of myself. Because I'm sober. I've been to Burning Man 20 times. I know the way people act. I know how to avoid sketchy people, sketchy things, and danger. I'm not saying I'm invulnerable. I'm saying my spidey senses for personal self-preservation are very attuned up there. And I am not really worried about anything bad happening to me. But if I die, you get my half of the podcast. Consider this a living will. And we'll see what happens in a week.
All right. Well, I'm just saying.
What
Maybe
do you-
I just look at things differently as a woman. Like the other day, we
you
went on
definitely
this,
look at things differently and are a woman.
like the other day, we went on that really romantic
Do you think there will be
hike.
any women there?
No, hold on. We went on that really romantic hike, and we were the only people. It was like this shady fern gulch,
Right.
And there was this like kind of weird guy who he felt like a little like hopped up or something, and he had a backpack on.
Yeah, classic stranger danger
Hold on.
signals. Backpack,
and then
hop.
he goes to Moshe. He's like, "Hey, dude, is this a crawdaddy in here?" And he's like leaning over a river on the balcony, and no one's around. And Moshe like leans over to look, and I'm just like, I just feel like as a woman, like if a man came up to me and he's like, "Hey, look
over this bridge.
look over this bridge,"
I'm going to knock you into it.
I would never do that.
But it's different because I'm a man and you were there with me. I agree with you that if I was...
he kind of looked
if
like
were-
you. He looked like he could take you out.
But why would he take me out? You're right there. You'd run away.
Maybe he was a crazy guy. I don't know.
Why would you want to live in a world where every single interaction is colored with the possibility of catastrophe?
I don't want to live like that.
I mean, listen.
But I
hold
will
on.
say it's like easy I'm just saying as a woman, I just have certain protectants up at all
I
times.
feel that. I'm not saying I'm not brushing past the fact that as a woman, the interactions you have in the world are tinged with this different possibility of terror and attack. And what is it that I think Chelsea Peretti says? But maybe she didn't make it up. Maybe this is a saying. I don't know. That men are afraid that women are going to laugh at them. Women are afraid men are going to kill them. Right? Like, but so I get that's different. But first of all, it is different when we're together. It wasn't a situation in a dark alley. It was a park, and there were people in the park. It's not like we were in an isolated area.
But also, it's like he didn't have a mask on, and he like summoned us over to look over a bridge.
But it was a public park. I mean, there was nothing sketchy about that If it was a dark alley, I'd be like, no, thank you. If you were by yourself, hell yeah, I'd be like, no, thank you. But the idea that something awful could happen because a man is remarking that there's a crawdad in the river when in broad daylight where there's tons of hikers around.
There was not tons of hikers around. That is the point. There was not one person.
Not, you're describing it like it was a dark alley, but it wasn't. It was a public park. It was like Central Park. For the listeners who aren't in LA, it was like Central Park. But Natasha, none of that has to do with Sad Burning Man. Like, what is that? Lots of women are going to go to Sad Burning Man.
No, I'm just saying, like, I don't know. It just feels...
You're worried about being thrown over a bridge, traffic jams, economic instability, getting COVID from your barber, and giving it to our kid and she dies. It's like, I think the problem might not be my recklessness.
All right. Well, maybe it's called new motherhood.
Maybe.
Listen, I feel bad enough. I don't want to be this way. I'm going to start meditating more. Okay, listen. Why don't we listen to one of our callers?
Well, wait,
Where
hold
are
on.
they now?
Right. We should set that up, right?
Let's stop talking about me now.
And let's talk about they now.
Yeah.
And we often say to our callers that call in when there's a dangling participle of what's going to happen to these people, we often say, keep in touch with our producer and let us know how it goes. And some of you do. And our producer, she's got some I would say personal problems, and she often is unable to keep in touch with you guys because of some of the deep and severe personal problems that she has. She's just I don't want to get into it, but they're personal and they're problems and they're big and they're catastrophic. But I don't want to get into it. And she's here right now listening to me say this, so understand that this isn't something I'm saying behind her back, that she's really fucked up. But just kidding about all of that. She's very together. The point is...
Do you think she worries about getting pushed over a bridge by some weird guy hanging out, being like, hey, mister, come here, look at this crawdaddy. No, and then you like bend over and he stabs you in the back.
But the point is, I understand. I said that. Didn't I give that the deference that it was due? I do understand. I do acknowledge that women walking through the world, when they're by themselves, there's a different context for every interaction with the man.
Oh, so because you're my bodyguard, I don't have to be scared.
Yes.
What if I was with a girlfriend?
It would be less sketchy than if you were by yourself, don't you think?
So you're saying that a woman should pretty much, to feel safe, needs to have a man next to her.
No, I just said, I don't know why you're trying to trap me into saying something problematic. I just said if it's you and a girlfriend, it's less sketchy than if you're by yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it's 2 girlfriends, even better. 3 girlfriends, better yet.
Hey, gals, come look at these crawdaddies over the bridge.
5 girlfriends.
You literally like put your head over the bridge.
But I'm not worried that some guy's going to like club me with a monkey wrench. That's not one of the things that enters into my worry. Anyway, I was building of something. 5 gals, even better. Only protection better than 5 girlfriends?
Yeah.
1 man.
I mean, depends on the man. But
I'm joking.
You are pretty imposing with your mismatched socks and TiVos.
Yeah, go fuck yourself.
Like, I can't even get the 2 of the same sock. You think that kind of would intimidate some like...
It's funny, honey. The beginning of this episode,
killer
you're like...
in the park?
The beginning of this episode, you're like, I just don't understand what's motivating you to want to go to the desert far, far away. And no matter what, why the need to do that? And then later on, you're like, oh, you cuck of a man. Nobody would ever be intimidated by you mismatched sock, TiVo wearing bitch.
Right,
you're right. Why I'm going to the desert. You're the reason why I go. You're the reason it's worth the risk. I got to get out of here.
I'm sorry.
Often we ask our viewers, our callers, to keep in touch with us, and our producer keeps in touch with those of you that do. And tonight, we are going to catch up with a few of those old tales and see what developments there were, see where they are now. And if this is my last broadcast as the co-host of the Endless Honeymoon podcast because I am run over and my spinal cord is severed by a dune buggy. I want to say it's been hecka real. I've hecka loved you. And thank you so much for your endless and undying support. And to all of the women that DM me and say, Natasha rides you like a cowboy riding a bull. I wouldn't take it for another day. Hundreds of DMs like that. With the same cowboy metaphor. I want to say thank you, but I love my wife, and that's the only person I'm interested in.
Hey, Moshe, I'm really sorry. You can be. I'm not saying I don't feel safe when I'm around you.
I don't care, honey. It's okay.
I'm just saying it's just a funny idea to like
roast me. I like it.
I just think it's funny that you don't think that's essential to match your socks with sandals. But that's okay. That's not that. Whatever.
Thanks, hon.
You can pull it off. That's what I like about you.
Thanks, hon.
You have such good style. You can pull pretty much anything off.
You know what? I appreciate that. I think you have great style too.
I think you're intimidating. I think that guy.
I don't need to be intimidating. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care.
He would have been really afraid of you.
I don't know what to tell you.
He wasn't even intimidating.
He wasn't a rape murderer. He was just a guy looking at a crawdad. The proof was in the pudding. We looked. There was a crawdad. We walked away. In the end,
but it just seemed weird in COVID for someone to like pull a stranger and be like, "Come here," with no mask on, and then like make you look over a bridge.
Can we do where are they now, or do you want to do where are the crawdads? Where the crawdads?
Let's do it. Let's do it. I just you didn't let me respond. I felt bad. I just want to tell you, I definitely feel protected.
Do you feel intimidated by me?
like, do I think you're gonna hurt me?
Yeah. Do you think I'm gonna hurt you?
No, I'm not intimidated by you.
For fuck's sake.
But I am I definitely am impressed by you.
I'm impressed by you too, honey. All right. Where Are They Now episode begins right now. So the way this is going to work is some of the callers are here with us and going to talk to us on Zoom, and some of the callers just left voicemail updates of where they are now. So why don't we listen to one of those voicemails?
Hey, Moshe and Natasha. This is Samantha and
Bob.
We originally called in as a couple because as we have a 5-year-old daughter.
Now 6.
We're having to learn how to, I'm having to learn how to be a little bit more quieter during sex. So we called in. You guys had some really good insight for us. We have actually started to have our daughter do more sleepovers with the grandparents, and I think that's been a good help.
Yes, it definitely has. I'm short-winded here tonight. I've also been the nerd and tried to see whether or not how much noise travels across the home. And I think we're actually just fine.
We're just fine. Yeah, it's worked out good. But,
I panicked. I was a bit of a panicker about it just because I didn't want to create some sort of lifelong trauma with the child. And I think at this point we're doing very well. So
yeah, sex life is good, and thank you guys for having us on. We love the podcast, and hope you guys are doing well in COVID. Bye.
COVID's just this new season of life now. It's like a new.
Have a merry COVID. What do you think he meant when he said he's been a bit of a nerd? Did he set up like a little decibel counter, you think, in her bedroom?
Yeah.
And then what did he do with his wife? Did he tell his wife go into the bedroom and say like, "Oh fuck yeah," over and over again?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's like it's just not worth it.
What's not worth it?
The trauma that you could like. I'd rather just have sex in the day.
What's not worth it?
To like have really loud sex.
What do you think would happen?
It would be like horrifying to your child.
No, it wouldn't.
Yes, it would.
It's just I grew up with it. It's just a gross out. It's not traumatic.
What if they saw something? That could be traumatic.
In what way?
I don't know.
What do you think would happen as a result of it?
They could. What the caller said too. He said it could be like lifelong trauma.
I think he was joking. It's not lifelong trauma that your parents have sex. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if you were like raw dogging her in the ass while like that could happen while your brother-in-law was fucking her.
No, how about just raw dogging her in the ass and then the baby comes in, the 7-year-old comes in. Well, you don't think that would have an effect on her?
I feel like in the moment, it would have to be pretty visually striking for it to register. You know?
How about you're sitting on your husband's face?
That's not going to be that bad.
I'm not trying to.
Who's trying to?
I just think you can have sex in the day
Nobody's trying to. I'm just pushing.
or not be loud at
I'm just
night.
pushing back on the idea that there's trauma associated with hearing your parents have sex. It's not traumatic. It's gross. I've heard it.
Okay, then maybe the
Happened to me.
visual might be bad.
Bad, but it's not going to ruin you.
Might turn you into like having, I don't know.
What? What's the worst case scenario? Also, do you think when he went to when they go to their grandparents, they're informing them of why she's having so many sleepovers? Do you think? They're like, hey, guys, it's boning night.
Well, by the way, they seem like a great couple.
They do seem
and
sweet.
I love that they're like so into this like loud, real sex that, you know, they want to schedule it and get the kid out of the house. And I mean, that's really a win-win for everybody, right? The kids get to bond with the grandparents.
You get to bond,
You
fluid
get to
bond.
bone your husband.
Yeah, bone your husband. Oh, that would be traumatic. Okay.
What?
If you walked in and you saw your mom boning the husband, full-on pegging, hardcore, big fat
That would be
dildo,
confusing.
it would be something to behold. Just a big old pegaroo. That would be rough. He's wearing a wig and like those garter belt panties, you know?
So you're saying only heteronormative sex could not
No, what I'm saying is the more...
fuck up the kid.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the more unusual and kinky and visually stunning a thing, the more confusing it could be. So a person on top of another person, they're not even gonna they're gonna know it was sex. They're just be like, yeah, and they turn away. But you open the door and you see like your dad in like smeared mascara, like with a stranger from the PTA pissing on him. Visually, you're gonna be like, okay, this is what did I just see? You'll say, that's what you'll say.
Like our daughter is 3 and I was like moving the Hulu channel back to like the kids and she was like, oh, those people are tongue kissing.
Right, and you're like, where the fuck did that come
and like
from?
right away, of course, I'm like, who told you that?
You might be in a traffic jam or economic instability. I'm never getting my bangs cut again.
No, but I'm just saying, like, you know, she's so innocent.
I
And
know.
I do want to, like, you know, if she had never seen that flash of that, I don't know what it was. It was just 2 people kissing on a, you know, Hulu show.
But how did she even know tongue kissing? It's crazy.
I know. She just said it because I guess, or maybe it was, I don't really even know what she saw. Maybe she saw something that was more horror
I
or
think
something with a tongue. But anyway, I just feel like she's so innocent. So if I don't show her stuff like that, she doesn't really know about it. And I like keeping that innocence as much as...
I guess I wasn't
I
prepared
don't
for
know.
that part of parenting.
I think that's an important part, but I don't know. Could someone let me know? I don't know if that's important.
But I didn't know that was such a big part of it. And it was obvious now in hindsight, but such a big part of it is that you have this little being that's got consciousness, but doesn't have any experiences that weigh you down as a person. Doesn't have like the other day, we sent her to her first school, her first day of preschool. She goes to a preschool called the Manhattan School here in Los Angeles. It's on the corner of Sepulveda and West 7th. But anyway, it's 127 West Sepulveda, and there's a very it's a soft target, but so you can get in very easily. But we sent her to school with this medallion, this like unicorn medallion. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you still reacting to my riff earlier?
No.
Oh, we sent her, and she at the end of this dumb thing that my mom gave her. It's like it's actually just a keychain, but we've had it in our family since I was a kid. I don't even know why we still have it, but it's this little unicorn, and we turned it into like a medallion. Put I think you did, Natasha. Put a piece of leather through it and turned it into like a necklace. So her first day of school, we sent her to school with this unicorn medallion, and she went to school and she came back. And she had told the kids there that her name was her middle name. She was like, "Oh, my name is," and she started telling everyone that her middle name was her real name. And then she like at the end of the day took the medallion off. She's like, "I don't want to wear this. It's stupid," right? And that night when I took her to go to the bathroom I was like putting her down. I started to think about that, and I started to get really emotional because I was like, I don't even know if this is true. But my interpretation of it was that she got like embarrassed of it, like that she was wearing this kind of gaudy medallion, and that she felt shame and was like, I'm not like these other kids. Nobody else has a medallion. I got to get rid of it. And she felt embarrassed, and that's why she wanted to like get it off of her. And I just had this feeling like I started to punch the wall as hard as I could. No, I started to like get a little bit teary-eyed or whatever, because I was like, oh, she's never experienced that feeling of shame. And it's such a familiar feeling as you get older and you're an adult, being embarrassed or caring what other people think about you. And it takes 20, 30 years to start to have to care about that stuff less. But of course I still experience shame, but it was like, oh, the first time she felt like shame, that's so sad. It's the worst of emotions in some way. And
but she wasn't even right, because then the next day she was happy, and
I might have been wrong about that. I'm just saying.
No, but maybe it's fleeting, so maybe it's not something to be so sad about.
It is fleeting. Shame's always fleeting unless it like infects you. But the point is, it's such a bad and negative and purely negative feeling, like that feeling of just like, I remember when I was a little kid. It's probably too long, but anyway, I remember when I was a little kid, how quickly it happens. I put this shirt on that said Splash on it. And it was like, probably it was the late 80s. So it had like puff paint of splashed, like the design was like
cool, bro.
A splashed paint. And I thought it was so cool, right? As I closed the door to walk to school, I was like, this is sick. And then I got to my school, which was like 2 blocks away from my house. By the time I had gotten to school, I had decided like only the world's biggest loser would wear a Splash shirt. Like, this is so stupid. I look so dumb. I'm such an idiot. And I'm stuck in this shirt. Why was I, you know what I'm saying? So like, it was like the difference between thinking I was like the coolest kid on earth and thinking like I was the biggest nerd in the world because of this shirt was like 2 blocks long. And then, I don't know, it's just a sad feeling that you develop that is it like a gravitational pull, caring what other people think about you. You can't avoid it.
Right.
There's no way out of it.
I bet you some people don't have it.
Ever? I don't think so. You can discard it.
I think you can work on it.
You can definitely work on it. And everybody gets better as they get old.
But some people naturally have it more than others.
That's true. And some people are... Anyway, whatever. Point is, don't fuck in front of your kids. Send them to grandma.
Okay, let's hear another one.
Hey, Natasha and Moshe. It's Jasmine from episode Tablet Time with Esther Pavitsky. I'd called asking for advice on my boyfriend and how to get over the fact that he cheated on me and gave me chlamydia twice. Since our call, I took Esther and Moshe's advice, which was to go to therapy, and it was helpful. I continued to stay with him and work through the trust issues. Since then, we have moved in together. He hasn't cheated on me. I trust him now. We've taken a family vacation with his family and have a stronger relationship. Recently, I had an epiphany and realized that I think the reason I had been obsessing about this was, I guess, Esther and Moshe were correct, and I have a fetish of watching my boyfriend have sex with another girl. But obviously, in my fetish, I would eventually join in. So I guess that's the real reason why I was upset. It was about all the sneakiness, the lying, the omission of it all, which is probably where the resentment and the trust issues came from. But obviously I still wanted to be with him because I was in love, and it still turned me on to think of him having sex with someone else. I just wish I had been there for it. So to wrap it up, we are still together. So thank you, Natasha, Moshe, and Esther, for all your advice. It helped, and I hope you guys are having a good one, and take care.
Well, it seems like she went to a therapist, and they really talked through the issue. And I think when you do start to find out why you're attracted to someone who has a certain thing, or why you feel a certain way, and then you realize, oh, it's because of this, it sort of like demystifies everything and just kind of makes you more sensible almost. And it sounds like she kind of had a good, some good therapy sessions.
I just think this is like absolute best case scenario for the guy that cheats twice and gives his girlfriend chlamydia twice. She sits him down. She's like, look,
I probably told her to break up with him.
I am going to stay with you, but I need to have threesomes with you all the time. He's like, what? That's the result? Okay. Look, what's really upsetting me is that you fuck these other women and I'm not watching. He's like, oh, okay. It's interesting. I was just thinking, hearing her, it's just like, it does no good to judge other people's relationships by your own standards because everybody is so fucking different. It's like these people, she wants to be with him. She's decided infidelity is not a deal breaker. And in fact, in some parts of the infidelity, it's kind of hot to her. Well, fuck. It's not for me. That's not for me. But who are we to say? Who's anybody to say? She seems like she's getting what she was wanting, except for the chlamydia. I don't think she wanted that.
And also, this is a hard time to stay together. So that's great.
Kudos to you. May you never get chlamydia again. And may you finally find the group sex of your deepest fantasies.
I wish we could talk to these people.
Yeah, I agree. Well, you know what? I can make that happen.
Can we talk to one?
Yeah. Why don't let me do a little work. Let me see if I can. Our producer's asleep in her car, but let me go out there and talk to her and see if she could get somebody on the actual line with us.
On the horn?
On the horn.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get somebody on the horn. Our first in-person Zoom caller, or Zoom not in-person caller, is somebody that was on the John Daly episode, and I thought when I heard from our producer, who finally woke up, that's who we were going to call, I texted John and said, would you like to join us? I thought it'd be kind of funny if the three of us called her again. She was the COVID compliance officer from, I believe, the Bay Area that was having, well, we can hear who it was. But anyway, why don't we bring old John Daly on the call, check in with him, see how he's doing, and then call this lady.
If someone asked me to Zoom an hour before, I don't think I would.
Well, look how cool he looks. Of course.
Hey.
Of course he said yes.
I just said if someone asked me to Zoom an hour before, I would definitely say no.
But you look awesome.
Hey, I'm having a quiet night. I'm reading my book. I'm hanging out.
Wait, pull your book closer to the camera because it's in your Zoom fuzziness in the background. What is it? What book is it? Oh, The Overstory.
It's called The Overstory. Yeah, it's about how trees communicate.
Yeah, I read that. Well, I read part of that book. I got to be honest, I got a little bored.
It's a little boring, but I find it soothing.
Yes, it is soothing. You look cool.
Thanks. Deal with it. Hey, check this out.
I mean, that's amazing.
What percentage of Zooms do you do the deal with it glasses on? Like when you're pitching a show or doing an audition, do you do that?
It's good to be here.
John, I miss seeing you.
I know. I want to see. Let's hang out soon, guys.
Well, John and I...
you guys hang out?
No, we had plans to hang out on Monday. We were all going surfing together. John came to the beach and just didn't... He went to a different part of the beach. And then when we got out of the car...
I wasn't going to fuck with what you guys were surfing on. I just couldn't... I couldn't deal with it.
Oh, you mean it was like...
Deal with it.
The waves were too crispy? How do you call them, honey?
Deal with it.
They're too...
The waves are too crispy.
Yeah, that's what you say. All right. Well, John... we thought because this caller, we're doing basically a Where Are They Now episode. And we thought because this caller was somebody that we all three talked to, it might be fun to have you on when we call her back. A pleasant surprise for her, even.
Oh, I think this is going to be huge for her. Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to get off your chest before we start this call? Any thing you want to tell us, or do you want to just get this over with and get back to the Overstory?
Tell your people you love them.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let them die before you tell them you love them.
Amen. And deal with it.
Know what I'm saying?
And if they do die, deal with it. For the podcast only listeners, really we recommend you go onto YouTube and watch what John's doing because he's got some sunglasses that would really blow your mind and you will not be able to deal with it.
Yeah, it's a totally different thing when you see it. It's fucking awesome.
Okay, we're going to call Marissa.
Marissa.
There she is. Marissa.
Hi, it's Natasha and John and Moshe again.
How's it going?
Hi.
You know, when we heard you were coming back on, we called John and said, okay, we got to get you back on because Marissa's coming on. It's going to blow her fucking mind if
No,
you're here
Marissa, you know, we talk to a lot of people every day. Can you
Deal
remind
with
us-
it. Deal with it.
Marissa.
Can you remind us what was happening and what's happening now?
Yeah, so I was working remotely as a contact tracer, and I had a crush on one of my remote coworkers.
You were seeing him in the
But
Zoom,
what happened?
right?
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
got it.
exactly.
Got it. Was he wearing those cool sunglasses?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, whoa. We saw your eyes for a sec, John. Fucked up.
No, you didn't.
So what did we tell you to do? What was our advice?
You guys told me to like flirt over text a little bit, like message him and just kind of reach out and, you know, get a feel. But the thing is, the next day in the Zoom meeting we had together, he was like, "Oh, my girlfriend lives
Oh,
with me." I was like,
But that's nice
okay.
of him too. I mean, that's, you know, it's good when people say that too, because it does save your energy.
it's also good that he said it before you started the flirtation campaign.
Yeah, because then I would have, yeah.
Well, what if they break up? Can't you jump on that?
Or what if you could make them break up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start driving a wedge. What if? Okay,
Yeah.
I have an idea. Are you still working the contract tracing stuff?
No.
Okay,
not anymore.
well, whatever. At the time, what you could have done is you could have flagged her as being infected falsely, right? And isolate her, get her quarantining, right? And then you step in. Oh, it must be so hard to be so lonely right now. Wow, she got COVID. What a crazy coincidence that I was the COVID compliance contact tracer that discovered her positive result. Like, you wedge in there.
Honey, Marissa's been through enough. Wait, so
That's what Eric Clapton did to George Harrison.
Marissa, where are you now with your love life? Do you have a crush on anybody?
Well, right now, I moved back to my hometown in March.
Isn't that the Bay
So-
Area or something?
No, my hometown is actually Dallas.
Oh, you moved from the Bay
So-
Area to Dallas.
Yeah.
Big
Oof.
D.
Yeah, the big D.
Big D.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like starting to, I went to clubs before the Delta variant started going crazy, but now I message people, but it's just hard because I don't message that often on the apps, and I'll wait for like, I don't know, I'm really bad with.
Honestly, you seem like a raging club kid. I'm not surprised to hear that. You seem. I would have pegged you definitely for a club.
No, but you know, mixing in going out with the apps, I think that's a good way to go. And I think it's really good that you were feeling, at least in yourself, that it was possible to maybe do a flirty text or email, you know? So it's like, that's an important energy to remember, and you might need it again.
Here's
and
a bright-
taking risks, really.
Here's another bright side. If you want to get back into the contact tracing game, Texas is the epicenter of the COVID-19 virus right now. You moved. It's like you know what I'm saying? You like went to the gold mine, to the gold rush. This is good.
You know, I think like for a long time I was like really obsessed with like how I didn't date anyone and I couldn't get a date. And now I feel like I'm like reconnecting with my family moving here. And I'm like, whoa, I have like all this like support and love that I never tapped into.
I love that.
That's so great, because that is going to like bleed through your life in so many ways too. It's like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's cool.
I wish I could have that.
What do you mean?
You know what the secret to DMing people is? Super easy. You want to slide into someone's DM? It's all about emojis. All right? You say something hardcore like, I'm obsessed with you, and then you put a emoji that is cute or weird.
Like a tongue
Like,
emoji.
you know, a bowl of cereal. Or like, I'm crazy. Or you say something light, like, hey, what's up? And you write like 4 hearts in a row.
Right. Oh, it belies the spirit of what you're saying in English. That's actually pretty good advice. and you
Deal
could
with that.
you could also, Marissa, you could do that. You could apply that to the revelation, this very beautiful revelation you're having around the support and love you have from your family. Like slide into your parents' DMs and just say, I want you to know, like, I love how much love and support you guys have given me, and it's just filling me with everything I didn't know that I needed, and now I finally know that it's what I've been looking for this whole time. And then it could just be like eggplant, eggplant, eggplant. Like just kind of throw them off too. Use those emojis.
Yeah.
My family's the same way, except that without the support and love. But I do go there and I spend time with them.
Yeah, that's great to draw, like finding places to draw strength from, I think is a very good goal.
Also, like, if nothing else has been revealed to me in the last 2 years of being isolated from the world, this is a revelation that a lot of people have had, but it's that life is all about the relationships that we pick up, that we have in our life, whether they're romantic, whether they're family, whether they're friendships. It's these people that we are close to. That's the whole point of life. At that and surfing, right, John? And the waves.
It's like Steven Tyler once sang, "Life is a journey, not a destination."
Exactly.
It's a friend you meet along the way, baby. And you can take that to the bank, deal with it. Yeah.
But really, Marissa, that's a deep realization you had. I think that's really cool. I really think that's awesome. And by the way, the more, this is cliche, but isn't it true? The more fulfilled you are with your life, the more you're making yourself ready for the partner that will come. It's not about finding the right person. It's about becoming ready to be the right person. Right, Natasha?
Yeah.
All right.
You got to figure out what you want. What if I got really passionate? You have no.
Okay, well, Marissa, good luck to you.
Oh wait, Marissa, before we let you go, what are you doing for work now?
Well, I'm about to start a job with Goldman Sachs.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Love them. They're awesome.
You went from
I kind of hate myself for doing it, but I really need money. So.
You went from saving humanity to trying to destroy it, and that's a beautiful arc as well. That's so beautiful. You should write to the CEO of Goldman Sachs and do John's emoji trick.
Jamie Dimon?
What's his name?
Isn't his name Jamie Dimon? Never mind. Stupid.
All right. Marissa, good luck to you. Good luck to you at Goldman Sachs.
Honey.
What a beautiful arc you've had. And tell your family we said hi.
I love you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Love you too. Bye.
Wow. She really sold out. Now that she's gone, let's talk. She really sold out. No, she's great. She's the best. I remember the whole thing came back.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
great.
I remember really liking her energy, her being so sweet, and that was still very true until the toxic bomb drop at the end about Goldman Sachs.
Hey, people gotta live.
Yes.
I'm joking. You got to do what you got to do. John, let's go surfing and actually see each other next time.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta be at a place where it's easy, really easy.
It was so easy, though. It
Wait,
doesn't
hold
matter.
on. You're worse than Moshe?
Stop that. That's rude.
I'm sorry, Moshe. You're better than John?
I have a new board. Also, I had a new board and it didn't have a center fin. It only had the side fin. So I needed to go to a surf shop, but they weren't open until 11. But the next time let's go to some place. Yeah, I couldn't deal with
You couldn't deal with it.
He didn't answer the
You
question.
couldn't deal with
Who's
it.
better, Moshe?
I can't deal with the surf punks, that get in your face and they want to kick your ass for taking their wave. I can't deal.
Yes.
I can't deal with it.
John, will you just do me a favor and tell Natasha that I'm better than you at surfing?
No, Moshe is absolutely better than me at surfing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, dude, thank you.
I can boogie board, but surfing, anyone can boogie board. Stephen Hawking went boogie boarding.
Stephen Hawking went
Stephen
boogie
Hawking
board.
was catching tasty waves on that boogie board like, I am going to hang 10.
I am going to hang 10.
All right, well, let's go surfing, and Natasha, let's hang out soon.
Let's all go.
Why don't you guys
best.
why don't you guys ever go to like a beach that the girls can come to and like
Anytime.
Okay, well you should have it like so that we can all
Girls
hang
Beach.
out.
John, you, me,
Or
Natasha,
let's have
Girls
dinner.
Beach. Or we could have dinner. That sounds good too.
Okay, all
Okay,
right.
bye,
talk
John.
soon.
Girls Beach. That's a good movie. Girls Beach.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye-bye.
Later, dude. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Later. Deal with it.
Deal with it. Marissa was so sweet, huh?
Yes. Yeah, and I think that it's hard to, I feel like there's a tier of friends that you no longer have around you all the time, So it is a little hard, like, who are the people who you're going to, like, draw support from? And
You're so right that, like, the beginning of the pandemic was, like, everyone you've ever known checking in. And then the middle of the pandemic was, like, shaving off the people that you're like, oh, I see. We're not, the people you're in touch with now, those are your real friends.
you think?
I mean, listen, acquaintances and light friendships are good. They're not bad. They're just the people that you still have around. But then
But light friendships are fun because you can just go to a comedy show and, like, see 15 people you like to
Totally.
talk to. But those aren't necessarily the people that you talk to every day in a pandemic. So it's like
That's-
that level of your life is kind of like where John lived for me, Like, I'm saying I never get to see people like that anymore. So that
Right.
I'm just saying back to Marissa, finding the people finding sources to draw strength from and make you feel like good. I guess family really is a good way to do that.
Well, that's what family's supposed to be, is this
Right.
like ultimate and unending, unceasing source of support. It's not always like that for people.
Of course, I know.
But when it is, it's like, yeah, it's the foundation of your, I mean, this whole idea that, like, you get old enough to move away from your family, it's such a modern idea because for, most of human history, your family and you were like an unending connection, and generation after generation, families would kind of stick together. And now it's less like that. But yeah, I liked her revelation is like stressing out over romance, and then all of a sudden you're like, well, okay, so I'm not maybe lucky in that area, but I've got this
Right now.
Right now, exactly. But I got this great source of love and connection that isn't romantic, but is more powerful than these fuck boys I'm meeting on Tinder. Do the kids still say Tinder? Anyway, do you want to do another?
Let's do another voicemail.
Hi, this is Chris from St. Pete, Florida. My wife, Carolyn, and I called in last November or December to ask for advice on dealing with Santa and our 3.5-year-old daughter. We weren't really excited about lying about Santa to our kiddo, and but we were also kind of like afraid that we were depriving her of some sort of, I don't know, meaningful thing, or depriving her grandparents of some meaningful thing. So ultimately, we kind of just agreed to not say anything unless she asked. So we let our families go ahead and do their thing. We didn't really mention Santa at all. She watched some Christmas specials. Family definitely mentioned Santa. And, we decided if she asked if Santa was real, we would be honest with her. Then on Christmas Eve, it was my turn to put her to bed, and she just started like bawling, just crying and screaming. I don't want anyone to come into our house. I don't want anyone to come into our house. And like by asking questions, I realized she was worried because we hadn't had anyone in our house since the previous March, that Santa coming into our house would get us sick. So it's actually like pretty sad. She basically thought Santa delivering presents all around the world would turn into some sort of super
Variant.
spreader event. And yeah, so
North
I just
Pole
immediately
variant.
told her, I was like, Santa's fake. Santa's not real. He's pretend. Don't worry, nobody's coming into our house. And that's it. This year we're spending Christmas with my family, so we're going to have to deal with it all over again, though, I think. Thanks.
That's incredible. The idea that Santa, I mean, it is so brutal and the sign of the times and hilarious that the idea that there's a child with anxiety, that Santa's going to come into their house and give them all COVID and kill her parents. Only if you've been naughty, I guess, would Santa be able to give you COVID. By the way, ho, ho, ho is like definitely a vector of infection. I mean, that's the opposite of what you want a maskless person saying around you. Ho, ho. There's a lot of droplets in that H.
Dude, I was raised Christian. I never believed in Santa Claus.
Not ever?
I cannot remember believing in him.
God, they got off easy.
I mean, what? He just like comes down a chimney?
Right. I guess so. This is kind of a cat burglar.
And don't you know, like, aren't we already telling our daughter, like, what's a real animal and what's not? Like, reindeer can't fly.
Well, that's the thing is people like argue like, oh, you're talking about innocence. Or like, it's kids, it's so difficult to be alive anyway. Just let them have the innocence of their imagination by telling them that a large man will sneak into their home and eat their cookies and leave them presents. That's like their counter argument is you're taking their innocence by saying Santa's not real.
But then do kids think that some deer can fly?
I don't know. I guess. Santa deer?
Oh, God.
By the way, deers are getting COVID.
I know.
Speaking of which, so Santa could have gotten the COVID from his reindeers. Golly, what a world. Anyway, best case scenario for these parents, they were able to tell their kid what they wanted to about Santa, which is that he's not real, and it was a relief, not a shattering of like a desire to believe in a magical alcoholic who comes to your home. So that's kind of cool. They did a good parenting thing by saying Santa's not real.
Love it.
Our kid, by the way, when we get to Christmas parts of a book, she just says, nope, skip. We don't celebrate Christmas. Loving that. Big parenting win. Big Jew win.
Well, listen, why don't we hear from one more person?
Okay.
Hey, Moshe and Natasha. This is John from Grand Rapids. Just checking back in. Currently boxed into a gas station in Cadillac, Michigan, the MAGA capital of Michigan, by a MAGA classic car parade in a McDonald's parking lot and a MAGA pontoon boat parade on dry land. So that seems very on brand for Cadillac. Just calling to check in about the advice that you guys gave me about what to do as a single father of twin boys and having a lot of plates up in the air.
I remember.
I did not separate the boys. I thought about it. It just didn't seem very humane, so we didn't go with that. I also kind of went halfway on your advice about finding someone on a dating service, that has kids and understands the busy life of having children. Though I did not look specifically for women with twins, because that sounded terrifying to me, to have 4 children roughly the same age running around. But at the same time, I'm just returning. We're on our way home from a 3-day camping trip. I took the boys by myself camping and feeling pretty empowered by that, and kind of not feeling like taking any bullshit from anybody. So I feel like if I go on a date with someone and they're not really feeling the fact that I don't have a lot of money or that I don't have a lot of time on my hands, at this point that's kind of on them. So I'm feeling pretty confident in myself and my ability to move forward in my life, and that's partially thanks to you guys and your very helpful advice and your very helpful show. Anyways, thanks so much. Good luck with Delta variant. Peace out.
Heck yeah. The sad part of that voicemail
What?
is when he said good luck with Delta variant, the people in the pontoon parade immediately heard him say that and attacked him, and those boys don't have a dad anymore.
Oh my God, I could not live around a MAGA parade.
In a MAGA parade down.
Oh my God.
Well, that guy sounded like he was kicking ass.
Also, I will say one thing I remember when we went camping for the first time, and when I say camping, I mean that we slept in your RV.
Sure.
I've never done like the other kind where
Tents.
you sleep in the dirt. No, I'm not going to do that. But anyway, when I came home, I just felt kind of like I needed less. I felt a little empowered. And I think that maybe camping can also give you that a little bit.
Completely.
So that's good.
Simplicity.
And again, he's drawing strength from his family.
And from
like our last caller.
And from our podcast.
And from his friends at the Endless Honeymoon podcast.
That guy sounded cool. And I remember him being very sweet, but he was dealing with some feeling overwhelmed by the fact that he had these 2 kids and that he just was trying to make money and trying to make things work and then trying to date on top of that. and it sounds like he found out that he already had enough. It's kind of cool. I love it. Gotta say, I love it.
Should we call someone?
You want to do another call?
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to call.
Caleb in Champlin, Minnesota.
Oh, I thought his name was Champlin. We're going to call Champlin in Caleb, Minnesota. Oh, sorry, that's Caleb in Champlin, Minnesota.
All right, let's see if we can remember what this guy did, what his life was.
Hello.
Caleb, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Well, you got a better setup than we do.
Thanks.
You sound like you're straight up FM radio right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Are you a podcaster or something?
You know, I actually used to have a podcast, so I got all the shit for it.
Well,
Wow, we've had one for 4 years and we don't have the shit for it yet. So it's really impressive.
Caleb, will you remind us of
who you are, what your problem is, and how we helped?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. So I'm Caleb. I'm from Champlin, Minnesota, and we had called you, or I had called you rather, 2 days before our baby was going to be born, and I was looking for parent advice, and Dan Levy was here.
That's right. Yeah. Tell us, you were just about to have a baby. Now you have one?
Yes, now we have one. We succeeded.
And what did we tell you? And how did it come to fruition? What was the good advice?
I think the best piece of advice I took away was not to worry when the baby sleeps a lot. I don't know if I had mentioned or not, but when I was a baby, my mom ended up taking me to the doctor because I was sleeping 23 hours a day, just waking up to eat.
Whoa.
And he was
intense.
like, no, you just have a good baby. And I was the same. She was the same way. She completely emulated that. We had this 6-month grace period that no other parent gets where she just slept. And then she'd wake up, she'd be happy and agreeable, and she'd go back to sleep. And now she's teething, so now she's a living nightmare. But I can't complain because there was 6 months that she was just perfect.
What did you stream? Did you watch it? Did you get through an entire show on Netflix, or what do you spend that 6 months doing?
God, I don't know. I guess I play a lot of Oculus, so I guess I was on my quest.
Oh yeah. Now you're talking my language.
I don't know if your producer mentioned it, but another problem's come up if you get the time to help me out with it.
Oh, we're trying to 2-for-1 it.
I can
always
Venmo
trying to get
you.
something for nothing, huh? Okay, Caleb, what happened now?
She's 8 months now. It was December when she was born. I don't know if this is too early or not, but she's obsessed with phones. And
Did you get your 8-month-old a phone?
No, I'm not going there. But she wants our phones all the time, and it's like there's upsides and downsides. Like the upside is
But he's not really thinking about getting her the phone.
No, absolutely not.
I just think don't let your kid hold your phone for 2 years if you can.
I think. Listen, I'm less.
That was like the only thing I really cared about.
I'm less anti-phone than Natasha is, but in the end, I think she was right. Like, your child will become obsessed with the phone no matter what you do.
And mine will too.
And so you should just. I kind of think Natasha's onto some wisdom shit. Keep the child from even touching the phone as long as you can.
Do you guys look at your phones with the baby in the room?
Oh, hell yeah.
That's something I've started to feel so guilty about.
Me too.
I had the worst day today because my kid, she was watching TV for like 2 hours. And then I was like, okay, let's go play in the yard. And then we ran around the yard for like 20 minutes. And then I gave her like a blueberry soda. And she drank the whole thing. And then I was like, okay, do you want to go back in and watch something? And then she's like, yeah. And then she went back in and watched something for like 2 hours while I just sit and stared at my phone. And like, I hated myself the whole time, but like, it was all I could do today.
Do you treat TV the same way with her, where it's like, let's keep the TV away from the kid?
No, I just told you I let her watch 4 hours of it. I'm just saying, but I think that, I think everyone has their own, you can do whatever you want, but I just feel like really bad when I'm staring into this black vortex of nothingness. That energy for her to be around that, it just doesn't seem that positive.
I am much more gentle on myself and us about that. I don't think it's like a harbinger of doom.
I'm always like, I'm reading on here. I'm reading on my phone. Oh, I have to do emails. Mommy has to do some work. I do work on my phone.
I don't think it's as doom and gloom as Natasha does. She's pretty convinced that it's like the end of all of our brains. But I do think that I think that it's okay to be on your phone. I mean, look, it's obviously by far preferable to not be on your phone, but it's not that realistic to never be on the phone in front of your kid. It just doesn't really make sense. The way that we did it was we just told her this is for adults. It's the same way with wine. It's the same way with like my nicotine toothpicks that I use. Like these
Caffeine.
Coffee. This stuff
Tea.
is adult stuff. And as she gets older, when you have a 3-year-old, she's going to know that what's up a little bit.
Eventually, because like this next generation, they're going to be technomancers. Like they're going to be wizards. So what age do you let them?
I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that like because they're going to be so technomancery, there is no way that you're not going to turn them into like weird like woods children by keeping them away from the phone for 2 years. So that's I think I'm with Natasha. I support Natasha in this.
I just think it's like evil. Like try to fight it if you can.
It's not evil. And if it is evil,
if you have the energy to fight it, just do it.
If it is evil, then you need a technomancer to ward off that spirit.
That's true.
But your kid is going to be technologically savvy no matter what you do. So I think keeping it like, stimulus and brain as long as you can.
Lo-fi. I think
Lo-fi.
lo-fi if you can handle it. I mean, again, this is from someone who failed today.
She's 8 months and we find these videos on our phone that she accidentally takes. And I think that's the part I'm going to miss about taking the phone away, because she'll like, they're so funny to find. Like her directing style is very Lynchian. It'll be like a slow pan to like a rubber duck in the room with like the ambient sound of her parents fighting in the background, and it'll like zoom in and then just cut to credits.
But
then
letting her do that, I don't think that doesn't sound awful. What I think.
No, but she's also called the police.
All right, take that phone out of her hands. She's a Karen. You have a little baby Karen.
No, but think about it. You're going to be dealing with your kid on the phone and their addiction their whole lives. So why not just like try to make their growth like just as lo-fi and in nature if possible. In nature can just mean like
mindset going
go for a walk or whatever, talk to them, sportscast what's going around just until they're 2.
Here's why
try to wait till they're 2.
Here's why I think Natasha's right. Because the phone.
Well, it's also a very common belief. It's not just me making this up.
But I'm less passionate.
Natasha's hot take.
But I've also like researched it a little bit.
The phone is less. It inspires less passion in my life. But the reason I think what?
No translation. You're addicted to your phone and you don't want me to.
Sure.
Like,
all I'm saying is, it also I don't feel miserable all the time every time I think about a telephone. But what
about a cell phone?
What?
He's just called it. It's funny to call it a telephone.
It's a telephone.
I guess it's a Can you? Have you seen my telephone?
Have
you ever said that?
Anyway, I'm trying to get my point out,
okay.
Which is complimenting you. The point, sort of. The point is, it's not just to keep your kid's brain from becoming melted by the phone, but it's also that it's so once you open that seal, it's so easy to pass your kid the phone rather than have to deal with parenting them. It's like the longer you can be disciplined about that, and you cannot be like, oh my God, here, just take this and you'll shut up. Once you do that, you'll do that all the time. We have rules. Like she can look at the phone when we're on a long road trip, and that's the only time that
But looking at the phone means watching something on.
Watching a TV, watching
right.
a
She
show
can't
on
just
it.
like. I don't want her like using my phone and like finding music and stuff.
Yeah, it's so creepy when a kid knows how to swipe. Like you'll see a kid at the restaurant and you can tell their mom just handed them the iPad to shut up.
Yeah,
I mean, my problem with it is I think just for the kid's attention span in general, it's just not that great.
Here's the rule, and we'll let you go with this.
Sure.
Once they start wiping, they can start swiping. So when they can take care of that
it rhymes so
themselves-
it tracks.
Yes,
That's perfect.
exactly. All right, Caleb, good luck to you. And thanks
Okay,
for
bye,
calling
Thanks,
in.
guys.
Yeah,
Good to
glad
see
you're
you
enjoying
again.
Parenthood. Good to see
Mazel
you too.
tov.
Thank you. Bye.
Have fun in Where's he live?
Champlain.
Champlain.
All right, Tosh, we got one last call.
No more.
One last call.
More?
One last call. One last caller. It's somebody from our live episode, and it was the person that we roasted heavily with Emily Heller, and we've got her on the line as well. So we're going to have Emily bop in real quick, our cue. Emily's going to bop, and then we're going to call this fella, and then we're going to wrap it up. Emily.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
I cannot believe you agreed to do this.
I
Thank
also
you so
can't
much.
believe it. I was fully expecting a hard no.
But like these days, sometimes it's like, why not?
Look, it's Saturday night at 10:30. Of course I'm home.
Oh, what a world we live in now.
Wait, Emily, how's it going? Do you have any advice for us
Yeah.
in easing back into the world, or do you want to get comfortable first?
Easing back into the world. I'm like back in quarantine. My husband got a breakthrough case a few weeks ago.
Oh,
He's better
no.
now. But yeah, I mean, like the last month we've just been home.
Wait, how'd he get it?
He got it from someone vaccinated.
Oh, my God.
Was he
Yeah.
living like a wild life, like traveling a lot?
Here's the wild thing. It was like a friend of ours came to our house, hung out for a few hours. The next day she tested positive. She had tested negative like 2 days before. And then he got it and I didn't.
How? How's that even possible? Oh, you
It's
just
but that's happening a lot.
Right.
I've heard with these breakthrough cases. You're like the third person I know, or the fourth person I know whose partner didn't get it. But like, I have a friend who just got it, but then he and his wife didn't get it, or their kids, but the friend who got it had cancer. So maybe like there could be maybe some people's bodies are more.
You're saying I'm stronger.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I guess that's what you're
This is
saying.
like,
Yeah.
I mean, by the way, I flunked every science class. I'm only recently interested in science since this happened.
Or it's
So-
possible, yeah, that the vaccine just has a different reaction to different people's bodies and is more robust in one body and not in the next. Who fucking knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
But wait, you did invite the friend who tested positive into your house inside.
Yeah.
See, because that's the thing I can't quite get a read on. Like, it's like someone said Lena Dunham's mom posted that she got it masked outside talking to a vaccinated friend. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, is that really something that's happening where
I
we're
don't think you can-
in a KN95 mask outside with a vaccinated person getting COVID?
Well,
'Cause
I just read a study from Johns Hopkins that said that Lena Dunham's mom isn't a reliable scientific source. That's what I listen. I have no opinion on that.
Yeah. It turns out that anecdotal evidence from a performance artist is not recognized by the CDC.
What if it made it to the upper echelons of the CDC? Somebody runs in with a memo. Karen Dunham just reported a
here's-
breakthrough case outdoors in a KN95.
But you guys, you act
Her
like
name is Lori Simmons, and she's sort of famous.
Okay, sorry.
And I don't think she's a performance artist. I don't actually know. I'm doing.
But you guys are acting like we have any guidance on this. This is all we have is like trolling the internet to try to figure out what's happening.
Right.
I mean, it's like everything is so confusing. So anyway,
Yeah, I mean, I think just my real takeaway is just the safest thing you can do is just take any medicine that says it's for a horse.
Yeah, that's your takeaway
That's
from
my
it.
takeaway.
Oh, so it's not just this ivermectin; it's all horse medications.
Any horse medication. They also recommend just like making sure your mane is just like well maintained.
Beautiful. You have honestly, I'm looking at you right now. You do not have an unmaintained mane. It looks really
I should
good.
have showered today.
No, it's
Look
quite
at
amazing.
that.
You know what? We just went to the Gentle Barn and pet horses. I wonder if somehow we have
your hair looks good.
an upgraded immunity to COVID just from being that close to
Just
the
from
horses.
being close to
but
horses.
I bet
Yeah.
you there is something in our blood or something that is making. Or I don't know. I mean,
I
there's
think it
gotta
might be the
right?
vaccine.
There's some sort of force in our blood that's keeping us
No,
currently
but
from
I'm
getting
saying
COVID.
from some vaccinated people. Okay, did you and your boyfriend, you and your husband have the same vaccine?
We did, and we got it on the exact same day. But I think it might have also just been that he was talking to her for a little bit longer than I was. We
Right.
had like 8 people over.
No, the part
And-
we
Oh,
don't
did any of
understand.
the other people get sick?
No, he's the only one who tested positive. And I got a little sick, but I never tested positive. But he like fully like lost his sense of smell. Like
Wow. Do you
He
think-
was like sick.
Emily, you seem like an expert on COVID. Is there any possibility we could get it from this Zoom just by talking to you?
No, but like when he was really contagious, I had him just go fully into his nostril with a couple handkerchiefs, and I am mailing you one. So if you wouldn't mind looking that.
Why are you mailing us that? Feels like an assassination attempt.
I want you to boost your natural immunity.
Oh, that's beautiful. We should have had a party at your house where we all got it, so we could all recover from it and get those hot antibodies. All right, Emily, we've kept you long enough. Let's call this guy. It's
okay.
We don't remember.
So all of this has just been on the podcast.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Oh, you don't. Oh, we can cut it out if you want.
No, I have no secrets.
Okay. What does your husband?
Not since he's married to me.
Yeah, right. I remember this guy. It was from the live show, and I think he was like, we were making fun of him about looking like he was doing a headshot. I don't know if you're that.
Oh yeah,
rings any bells.
He looked like he was doing a self-tape.
That's right. Oh, that's right. An
Self-tape
audition.
for like a self-tape audition. Yeah.
All right. Let's
and
see if
his whole deal was like he wanted to have sex with a dog.
something like that. Yeah, he wanted to have sex with a dog. Let's see where he's at now.
Let's see if he closed the deal.
Wait,
That's
are we calling?
Wait,
him?
Alan shouldn't listen to this. He might get traumatized. Actually.
Hi.
Hey, there you are. Still handsome after all these months. Look at you.
Did you
All
book
right.
the gig? Did you book the role?
Oh, I booked it.
Will you quickly remind us of the issue we were having and what advice it was, if any, that we gave you?
Yeah. I was seeing someone new, and their dog was interrupting our sex life, whining and whimpering and barking anytime we'd even make out. And she would shout. She would kind of like, silence the dog in the middle of things. And I didn't know how to broach like, hey, yelling, at the dog during sex is,
Throwing off your fuck rhythm.
It's making me come too soon. I think that's the joke that I made at the time, probably.
Was it probably?
No, that's fresh.
Oh, that's fresh. Because she was screaming, Rover, come, right? And you assumed she was talking about you. And the dog's name is
so
Rover.
obedient.
Yeah. What did we tell you besides making fun of you? I remember that.
You did. You roasted me well. Natasha said to just talk to her about it. She was like, I think you should just say how you feel. And I had not. I was like afraid to be like, hey, your dog's great, but I had not said anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I did.
Wait, you disregarded my advice and Moshe's advice?
Yeah.
What did we tell you?
You guys didn't give us. You didn't give me. I just remember Natasha specifically being like, "Have you tried talking to her?" And I was like,
No, you guys made fun of him, and then
and then Natasha stepped in like the adult that she is and told you some good advice. And so you talked to her. How did it go? What did you say?
I was like, "Hey, can we come up with like a solution for the dog because it is interrupting intimacy? It's like it's kind of a bummer."
Did you use the word intimacy?
I don't know. Probably, honestly.
I've been married 3 years, and if my husband used that word, I'd be like, whoa, I don't think we're there yet.
Okay.
It is intense.
So we're back to make fun of you a little bit more. But what did end up happening? Did it help?
You don't sound that warm in a reenactment of yourself. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I mean, did she take it well?
Yeah, she was like, "Oh yeah, I agree. It's really annoying." Okay. And she's like, so we tried a bunch of different things. Like we put the cage, it was like his crate in like another in the bathroom, closed the door, and he would, blast some music.
The dog would blast music?
He would blast music.
Who, the Baja Man?
Yeah. Oh, what else?
He loved that song. Who let the dogs out, right? And it's a double entendre for him because he really would like somebody to let him out.
But how great that it became your problem together, and you guys could start like figuring. I don't know what happened, but maybe like it shows you so much more about the person, you know? Like, did she take it personally? No, she was like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's figure this out. That's someone cool, right? That's at least a cool way to respond to an issue.
Wait. Are you guys still together?
We are.
Okay.
She wasn't defensive at all. She was like, this is annoying. Yeah. She's like, she was like, I don't know what to do about it. And I was like, well, I don't know. Let's try covering the crate with a blanket. That worked too. If he couldn't see us, it wasn't a problem for him.
You know what else could work is covering the crate with like a lot of blankets and then waiting a long time and then problem solved forever, if you know what I mean. No more barking. So now what? Do you guys have sex without a dog barking? It just is like it's all good now?
Yeah. Yes.
Do you have to do the blanket thing every time?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it does mess with the rhythm
Just
of the night.
Parakeet style.
You know what you should do is get a kind of sexy blanket and like work it into the ritual. You know, it's like like a bearskin rug that hangs from the wall, and then you rip it down.
It should be like a poncho that you wear, and
good,
then you
Emily,
seductively take it off and throw it over the dog cage.
Oh, Emily, that's great. It's like a Liberace reveal.
It's part of it.
I respect that you have a few rituals you have to do in the house before you have sex. You can handle that, right?
Yeah.
We've got to take our dogs off of our bed, right?
The thing I respect the most is that Natasha directly made it so that your love life went from being something really awkward and uncomfortable to being healthy and good.
Well, okay, wait. Follow-up question, like, is the sex good now that the dog doesn't interrupt it?
Right now that you can focus on it.
Was the dog barking covering up like other sexual incompatibilities that have now reared their heads?
Real bad. No, it's great.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, glad we could help.
Yeah. One more thing.
There was an additional thing, which was that I decided to tell her that I was on this podcast, but I waited, and that became wait, what else are you holding in? You didn't tell me about this dog thing, but you also didn't tell me. And so now we have a really honest and open thing.
And she knows about your acting career.
Unfortunately.
Well, wow. It sounds like this podcast was a real breakthrough for your whole relationship in every way.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. Yeah. Emily, Natasha, look what we done did.
Wow. I'm deeply ashamed of myself.
we regret it.
Yeah. If I had known that the conversation we had would lead to like a healthy discussion of boundaries and sort of like you guys breaking through your initial problems, I just never would have come on this podcast in the first place.
She wouldn't have agreed to do it. Yeah. And now she's regretting coming back for the second time.
No, I'm glad I got closure.
Yeah.
It's all I've thought about since we recorded this. When was it? 3 years ago? I don't know.
Straight through your husband's breakthrough diagnosis. You're like, whatever, dude. I'm not trying to think about that. What's happening with George and that dog?
Okay, George, darling. Well, glad we could help you. Is your name George?
It is George.
Oh, good.
All right, George.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Good luck with the rest of your relationship.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Goodbye. Good night.
Emily,
Bye.
you're so cool and so funny, and that was so great. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for agreeing to jump on at the very last minute. We miss you. We still miss you.
I miss you too. I mean, the good news is like we can see people again now, so maybe we can hang out sometime.
Outside. Why can't we all just hang out outside?
Outside. Oh, because the sky is on fire.
Right in time. Right in time.
I forgot.
For the Delta variant surge will start to dwindle just in time for California wildfire season.
Maybe we really should start having Zoom dinners then, Moshe.
Well, we'll do something.
Okay.
I've got to be honest. I miss you, and the fact that there was a breakthrough infection in your household makes me able to wait just that much longer to see you again.
No, but
I mean, our immunity's never been stronger.
Oh, that's
but
so true.
It does also make me feel like, well, fuck it, I'm just going back into quarantine.
Totally.
That was a nice couple of months, but
Is there a part of you? Was he basically fine, like sickness wise?
yeah. So he got he had a super mild case. He was sick, but like not too bad, and he felt better pretty quickly, but we still isolated as much as we could. Like there were 6 days when we weren't isolating at all, and I don't know how I didn't get it. But then once he tested positive, Like he tested positive the day he lost his smell. And he had tested negative 2 days before. And then but I had never tested positive. And but yeah, he recovered really quickly, but his sense of smell only started coming back like a few weeks later. It just started coming back like this week, and it's kind of slow. And it'll still be like he'll wake up and like not have it for like an hour.
Whoa. That's crazy.
It's such a specific effect, like side effect of the sickness. And do you guys know if has that ever been a side effect of something before?
I don't know.
I do wonder. It's like,
wait, I did learn an interesting thing about anosmia, which is like the loss of smell,
Yeah,
which is another friend of mine had gotten a breakthrough infection and lost her sense of smell. And I was like, do you have any recommendations for like food that might be enjoyable to him without a sense of smell? And she told me that apparently Ben of Ben and Jerry's has had anosmia his entire life. Like he's never had a sense of smell. And that's why Ben and Jerry's ice cream has all that stuff in it, because it's texture.
Right.
He's like, he can't taste it really. Like he can't smell it. So he's just like, it's just sweet cream with just like a bunch of junk in there. And so we got a bunch of Ben and Jerry's, and it was like good for him.
That's
like
crazy.
Yeah.
So weird to think about a guy going, well, I do have to eat unbelievably high fat caloric ice cream, but how can I, even though it doesn't taste good to me, how can I make it physically enjoyable?
I just can't believe this whole time, like we've been trusting someone who can't taste shit to make our most delicious creams.
It's crazy. Emily, did you take advantage of it at all? The week where you knew you did? I mean, were you just like not showering and just going crazy?
Like somehow that would be different than the rest of the time. No, I didn't. I took no advantage of it.
All right. Well,
and we weren't sleeping in the same bed for a while. So it was like, what's the fucking point?
Well, I'm glad everybody's healthy. Oh, I was wondering, I'll let you go, but is there part of you that's sad you didn't get it because it was so mild for him? Like you could have gotten it and experience, like battled the demon.
Why? She wants to experience it?
I don't know, because she knows it'll be mild and kind of, I don't know. Any part of you?
My feeling is like, it seems impossible that I wouldn't have gotten it. So what I think is, I do think I was infected, and I just had an extremely low viral load.
Right.
And it just wasn't being picked up.
Or or just like my vaccine just like did a really good job and like kept me from ever testing positive. But I maybe had like some viral load or something. It was just not high enough to like get me really sick. Like I think I maybe was exposed and fought it. So I do think I might have immunity as a result of that, but I don't know.
You should get a tattoo that says COVID-19 Survivor 2021. I think that's a good move.
What if I got one that said COVID-19 Survivor 2016? And people were just like,
I brought it over. All right, Emily, we miss you. It's good to see you.
I miss you too.
Bye,
Talk to you guys soon.
Thank you for doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, bye.
Well, that was an exciting and fun episode of the Endless Honeymoon podcast.
She is so funny.
Where are they now? Now we know. We've done all of our due diligence, and maybe in the future we'll do another episode just like this one. But I have one last surprise that I want to.
Oh, do you have a surprise for me?
Yeah.
You're springing a surprise on me? I hate this.
Well,
are you
just
serious?
Get ready, because I got a whopper coming your way.
Please tell me that's not what you have.
If you want to leave a secret on our voicemail, call us at 213-222-8608. You can also be a guest on the podcast by emailing us at endlesshoneymoonpod@gmail.com.
Find us on YouTube. All these episodes are on YouTube. It's such an easy way to listen.
And you can see John's sunglasses trick on YouTube, and you cannot see that.
Subscribe to our channel.
Yes, apple.co/Endless Honeymoon, and we're on Instagram at Endless Honeymoon Pod. And finally, Natasha, what I wanted to tell you this whole time, and I've been thinking it this whole time, is that I love you.
I love you too.